My name is Mick Gaffney, or Michael Gaffney, and I've been associated with this church for most of my life. I've got a lot of memories of the old church, even going back to the days where Latin was, the Mass was said in Latin. I've still got some very basic memories of it as a child. Coming through, I went to the Christian Brothers just up the road, or St Mary's down here, then Christian Brothers. And of course we were always associated with the church and associated with it throughout that time. I then moved away to boarding school, and I was only associated shortly with it. I was associated with the church because of my parents. They had a very strong religious background, and that came through, and I think that's followed through in my lifetime. The church has been, it's been like a magnet for me, because having been moved away at different stages, it's always drawn me back to come here. In the early days, it was you had to go to church, whereas now it sort of feels as though that I come to church for a reason. And I've got a reason to come to this church and it keeps drawing me back all the time. The Sunday Masses were especially important to me here because that was a good thing for me to set my life ready for the next week. I used to think about, pray about, and get ready for the next week as I was going. Some of the things for the church that I can remember, we went through the stage, it was a big upheaval when they moved the altar and changed the altar rails here. Because we used to have communion, we used to all go up and kneel and have communion taken at the rails. And then it was for a lot of people at that time. And several people moved away and wouldn't come to the church then and would actually go to country churches, as in like a protest. So I can remember going through that stage. My first communion and confirmation were done here, and they were a big event. We used to have them at night. The bishop would come up, and there was a big parade. We'd go around the church, outside the church, and it was a big event in those days, and that's another thing that stuck with me over the time. These days things have changed. The people that are coming to church, people have dropped out, so and it's made a difference from the being forced to come to church, which was really in the early days, to wanting to come to church and being here in this place. And I've been to a lot of churches in my time over different places, but this one's always had I don't know, sort of, like I said, the magnet. It's always drawn me back. And I marvel at the skills of the people who built the place in those days, and the people that supplied the money, because they wouldn't have been rich people, but they put their faith in the church here. I know God doesn't just live in here, but to me it's a sacred place that, I love coming to and I feel part of. I'm just amazed at the size and and how they're able to accomplish what they've done. Because even on Sundays you look around, you see the pillars that they've done here, how they got to the top of the buildings in those days without the cranes that we've got today. And it's just marvellous, the work they've done here. And on some days you get the light shining through the back window and it shines through there. And I remember seeing a picture Franco actually got, and it looked like light streaming into the church one afternoon. He just got it at the right time. And it just made it look like a magical, marvellous building at the time. And it is. And with the structure of it, the features of it, it's a shame we couldn't have finished the church make the cross out the back. But it's just marvellous they got to where they did with the time and with the things they had. And it holds a special place here because, as I said, not only did I make my first communion and confirmation here, but I got married here. So it holds a very special place for me. I didn't want to be married on a beach or anywhere, but I wanted to be married in a church. and this was the church that I wanted to be married in. And I was able to do that. So I was very pleased and happy to have that done on the day. Also too, with this church, I'm very pleased to see it's become a really multicultural church here, because without those multicultural people here too, our population that we've got now would be down. And it's great to see the different races and different people here coming to share and worship in the same place. And it's pleased that it's still going. The building is still going, the belief in religion is still going, and hopefully that will continue for many more years.